Hey there guys, it's Metro and we are back again. Now, back on Classic. It's been a while, a couple weeks since I did this, and yeah, Tuesday, servers are down, so this is the right time for it. But I do want to make some announcements. I have been closely monitoring the Season of Discovery stuff leading up to it. This is being published the day before it starts. I currently have no issue or interest in playing it, honestly. But yeah, we are going to learn from it. I want to see exactly how they deal with the things that they're talking about adding. I'm actually very interested because that's probably like the most creative stuff Blizzard's done, really ever. And it's really got the gears working. I talked about this in a previous episode of a different leveling challenge, but if obviously you didn't watch that, I am now heavily considering adding content like that to my version of the game. I want to see how it plays. First of all, I want to see, like, does it just completely trivialize the game? What are their approaches there? But yeah, it's coming, I think. So I've already started making items because in the other episode I talked about this. Like, you cannot really do that. You cannot really just add spells to this client. You can do it on the 112 client, but I do not want to use the 112 client unless I absolutely have to. Mostly because it's just, yeah, the add-ons are so much nicer here. But yeah, trying to find ways to make the game more fun, more replayable for long term. And this seems like the right choice, honestly. Like, man, that's it. So I'll be eagerly monitoring that, and I'm excited to see what they end up doing. That's for sure. But yeah, I already have items in the game. I was talking about it before, but like, yeah, the idea to like make a counter spell a much shorter CD, like things that would seem powerful for Classic specifically. But Blizzard's basically like adding a bunch of wrath spells for some reason, so that's not the way I would want to do it myself anyway. But even if I wanted to, I can't. I certainly can't do that. So I don't know how you would even add those types of spells, but I don't remember what we're doing here. I'm pretty sure we're still farming for Wildvine or something. I have only 3 right now, which makes me think we need more or something. I don't remember, honestly. It's been a while, so I guess we should take a look. I also needed to start the stream, but I forgot. But yeah, that's... And last night when I went to bed, it said the servers were supposed to not be down until 2 now. But I guess that's changed, so that's encouraging, I suppose. We'll set it for 11 then. Yeah, I guess we got to figure out what we're doing here, because I don't actually know. I'm pretty sure we're just gathering more Wildvine. If I logged off here, that was probably my old self trying to tell me something that I would forget. But yeah, I'm on the look for any interesting boss mechanics, any interesting trinkets, or like any unique item that might be something we can potentially learn from and implement into our game. Like, for example, if you've never seen it, like, okay, so that green text there, use time increased between targets attacked by 5%. That is a spell, okay? So what we're trying to do is we're trying to take those things and add them to items in a way that will improve the power and interest of the character. So, for example, like I gave in the other thing, rogues have a neck from ZG that reduces their kick by 2 seconds. So you can put multiple stacks of one spell. You can have 5 spells on any item. And that is what I'm looking to see. Like, is there anything out there that we can stack or potentially combine with something else to make a very interesting idea? And, I'm in the infancy of it, but I don't know how deep the idea can go. So that's what I'm, especially if anybody actually like plays a lot of Classic, or they have played a lot of Classic. I've played a ton, but I never really thought about it this way until now. So that's where we're going to be. I've been pretty much every night before bed, I always just sit there for like an hour and just leap through spells or NPCs or something like that. Last night I looked through every demon and every draconid or whatever and wasn't a lot of options, unfortunately, that sounded cool. I think, wait, what is the, oh, it's 4. Oops. Alright, I don't know how those in aggro. But yeah, there's a bunch of like spells that, like I was hoping that we were going to be able to use them. One's called Sniper Shot. I thought that would have been cool. I don't know though, like I'm not really sure because there's spells that like this client just doesn't recognize. But I'm not sure like if we put them on an item, would they work? I don't know if I've tried that. I probably did and it probably didn't work, but one that I'm disappointed that I couldn't get to work was, for some reason, I don't know if I messed it up or what, but I tried to make, oh, there's Wildvine. I tried to make a item that would duplicate the Hand of Justice. Well, I think that one works. I tried to make an item that would duplicate the, what's the name of the weapon? Iron Foe. But it's weird because, yeah, let's take a look at it. So Hand of Justice. 2% chance on melee hit to gain 1 extra attack, but it's an equip effect, so that's just like a passive that you get, right? But Iron Foe is different. Iron Foe is a chance on hit, grants 2 extra attacks on your next swing. So this is much, much easier to add than the other thing. So I can add 5 of those, and that'll be a 10% chance. Or, yeah, it'll be a 10% chance to grant 1 extra attack. But if I added this, it's still like I can't really figure out how to get it to proc. It didn't seem to proc once when I added it to an item, so I might have did something wrong. Considering it's already on an item, it should work. But that one seems to be unique in the way that other ones don't operate that same way. And then I think there's Flurry Axe as well, or whatever, right? That one is also a chance on hit, so we don't want that. And then what about Thrash Blade? Another chance on hit one. So yeah, it's really Hand of Justice that's unique in that way. But then there's Sword Specialization. Thinking about also adding talents. I've already been dealing with that. Oh yeah, and so there's these spells too, which I don't fully understand. I don't know if these will work. I don't know what they're for. But that is not what I wanted to look for. It's these spells. These are warrior talents. Gives you a 5% chance after to get an extra attack. So yeah, I love that idea. That's one of my favorite things about Classic is how important auto attacks are. And I would love to be able to make something like that. So, especially for warrior. Feels like warrior is the one that, like Blizzard said it at BlizzCon. They said it was like, instead of just warrior being overpowered, we're going to make everything overpowered. And it's like, well, that's great and all, but warrior being overpowered at max level might be true, but I feel like if you're stopping at level 25, you're not really going to see them being overpowered. Like, they're not really overpowered at level 25. So, yeah, I was pretty disappointed to see how little interesting things warrior got. Victory Rush is a good one. I have already added a thing for warrior that will give them healing. I think that's the big thing they need is some kind of sustain. But for Hunter, it's pretty limited. There's some things like you get mana back whenever you do stuff, which I think is pretty good, honestly, but not really that good. Like, we'll see. I don't know. But the reason I started even thinking about this all, though, was because if you guys hadn't heard me talk about this by now, I've been considering doing a 1 HP point challenge where we only, what is that? Engineering. Where we only have one HP point. So any type of damage will kill us. So that means like we need to take 0 damage in the run. This is a common thing. Oh, this is a common thing in like Dark Souls or other games that are noted for their difficulty and that have like full control over the damage you would take. We do not have that in World of Warcraft, so it's going to have to be a lot more creative. I will probably do this. It's been in my head so much recently that I think like I'm going to have to do it. Will I finish it? Who knows? That's obviously going to be really hard. But yeah, we will do it, I think, and probably do it on Mage, because Mage will have shielding and stuff. So like, I've been basically doing a leveling challenge on Live WoW with the Hunter that has been able to never really take any damage at all. Like, if you play it well, you just do not take damage, period. And I fucking love that. Like, wow, do I love that. It's more fun than I thought it was going to be, honestly. And so I wish I could do this just on Live WoW, because there's so much fun stuff with Hunter that you can do. Like, there's sniper shots, so you can attack really far away. You can move while casting so many spells. Like, all that stuff I love. I can't. Oh, that's another thing. If anybody knows of any type of spell or trinket or anything like that that allows you to cast anything while moving, let me know. I don't think there's a single thing out there like that in Classic, but maybe. But yeah. Anyway, I'm really I really want to give it a try, and I think Mage would be the one, because, you know, Mage is known for their ability to just fight infinitely and just never take damage or never die to things that should definitely kill them. So we'll see how it goes. Probably follow like the hardcore Mage guide or something and see what it looks like too. We'll see. I don't know. It's going to be very difficult, and I think it could potentially be very fun. The thing that I have about difficulty, I want to say, like, I love difficulty in games, but only if the game then allows me to overcome that difficulty with plenty of things that are fun to do. Like if every time I didn't crit, my character died, you know what I mean? Like, that would be very, very, very difficult. But it wouldn't really be fun at all. Like, that's not even remotely fun, you know what I mean? So, like, it has to be something that's actually fun as well. And not a lot of games do that well. I was talking about, because the naked leveling challenge. Wait, what is this button? Oh, I actually have volley. Anyway, the naked leveling challenge I did on Live WoW years ago was like the perfect, because it was fucking really hard. But as a rogue, I had like a million things to deal with the difficulty. So if I played well, it was really, really, really good. And there's these things that happen in these playthroughs. Like, it just happened to me yesterday when I was doing the Hunter on Live WoW. There was a mob that I was like, I don't know if I can kill this. And then I killed it. It only took me 2 tries to do it. But still, like, that feeling, like, wow, this is not going to be doable. I'm like, oh, now I can outthink the difficulty and I can beat it. You know what I mean? So that is actually what I'm looking for. Like, if I can get that in Classic WoW, then it'll have ascended to the next level for me. But unfortunately, the classes are so poorly designed that I don't really think. Like, for years, I've always said Classic WoW's difficulty. Like, comparing the 2 games' difficulty, it's like comparing building a house with every tool available in retail versus sawing a single plank of wood with a wrench. That's what Classic is, you know? Like, building a house is a very, very difficult task. But if you followed some guide and watched a ton of videos on it and got all this information on it, you probably wouldn't really think it was that hard. But sawing a plank of wood with a wrench is like next to impossible. Like, that's not meant to be done that way, you know what I mean? So that's Classic's type of difficulty. Like, it just throws hard content at you that you don't really have any true answer to. Like, you don't have any self-healing, you don't have any defensives. Most classes don't even really have any offensive spells that they, like, cooldowns. Like, you don't have a lot of things that you can do in Classic. Whereas in retail, obviously, like, you know, the mob, like, we talked about this already. I'm not sure if it was in this playthrough or not, but, like, kill times are longer in retail than they are in Classic. You take more damage, you know, just per HP point in retail than you do in Classic. The difference is you have no way to heal, and you don't really have any way to influence combat. Like, I think the big issue with Classic is the misses. The fact that sometimes you're completely at the mercy of RNG, which always kind of makes me chuckle, because how many people say they hate RNG, but then when you have deep RNG in the actual combat too, people somehow seem to not mind that in Classic. But anyway, yeah, I guess it's probably time to sit down and figure out what the hell we're doing right now. Just kind of ranting at this point. We have 9 of these, so I'm not sure what we're actually doing. Leatherworking. Well, let's take a look at the sheet. I have it up and I have this page open, and I'm pretty sure I just made this last episode. So that makes me think I need to make these items. Is that because we haven't made any yet? I thought we needed to make... Oh, I see. So this is the stuff we needed to make to get these items. Is that right? Let's see where we're at here. Yeah, we haven't made the wild leather stuff yet. Okay, so that's our next goal, is to make the items, I guess. And now I know I did see the very end of the episode just quickly to see if I said anything specific. But it looked like I had picked up a quest. There it is, tribal leatherworking. We need to make a wild leather vest and a wild leather helmet. Okay, so according to my spreadsheet, we needed 21 wild vine, which is a ton. But that's fine, we got all day here. Well, now that the servers are not supposed to be... I'm actually going to post a thing. Yeah, if there was a way that I could find any type of way to like cast while moving on Classic, then it would make that playthrough so much more interesting. But I've been thinking a lot about Mage, and it does feel like, you know, that's obviously going to be the right choice. What will I primarily do damage with is the question. You would immediately expect Frost to be the choice, and I probably would focus on Frost spells, but there is some value in fire spells, I feel like. Fire spells hit hard, and they are oftentimes stunning the NPC. There's a talent that allows that to happen, so. Plus, there's a lot of, you know, like Pyroblast, right? Like, it might be needed. Like, I don't know. I don't know how strong Pyroblast is, but it's a very, very, very long cast. But, you know, if our only goal is to be in combat the least amount of time, then starting every combat with Pyroblast would be the right choice. Like, that would be the best way to kill it. And since we have more talent points and stuff here, it would dramatically improve our ability to, you know, to get that talent and potentially even palm Pyro as well. Do we want these health pots anymore? No, those ones are garbage. We got 24 of the good ones, so we'll probably never even use all those. But yeah, now that custom items are usable on this client, I have a lot of things I want to do. But first I want to see what they're doing with Season of Discovery's acquisition of these items. I like the idea of them, even though I don't really like most of the spells they're adding. I really like the idea of giving Paladin a proper interrupt. I just don't really think it's needed in Classic, though. It's only... They're basically focusing on, like, endgame content only, which is a shame. You know, Alex Central talked a lot about this, but... You know, Classic's interest usually is world content, and obviously most things can be stunned with Hammer Justice, so... It's not a true interrupt. You don't need a second one, really. They could have just made Hammer Justice also an interrupt like they did with Paladin, with Warlock. But anyway, so we'll see how they allow you to acquire them. I'm hoping it's very creative and very interesting stuff. And I'm hoping it's mostly exploration based. Not just like very intricate quest lines or something like that. But regardless, I will probably steal their ideas, and instead of adding whatever they add, I will just add something else. I want to see how they disperse them. Obviously, we're kind of, you know, limited because we're not going to be able to see the, you know, the end game version of this idea. But I mean, there's already like 12 things that you can get, so we'll see how you get them. I imagine a lot of it's going to be through dungeons, which I don't think is that big of an issue. Like, I think it's fair, to be honest, because like we can give like the most powerful things from the dungeons. And then I still haven't decided, like, do I just nerf the dungeons? Like, at some point, I want every single piece of content in this game to be soloable. And to nerf the dungeons is a lot of fucking work because there's, like I said in previous episodes, like, you can just apply a blanket nerf to every mob's health pool and attack damage, but you cannot do that to their spell casting. So the only way I found to do that is to make their mana pool like 10 times lower or something like that, so they can only cast 1 or 2 spells. But that doesn't feel right. That feels like super cheesy. So instead of nerfing everything, I'd rather like give you a way to be commensurately stronger in the dungeons. I just don't really think that feels kind of weird. Like, all right, we gotta equip this item. You know, I don't really love that. I'm not in love with that idea. I already did that and tested it out, and like I have a paladin that I've been soloing Blackrock Depths on and shit. Like, it's fun. I gave myself a shirt that has like thousands of armor on it and resistances, like 1,000,000 armor and resistances and everything, you know? It's fun. It's honestly too easy. But it is fun to just go and do BRD alone. And I think the cool thing about it, like, not being hard is it would encourage me to do it back to back to back a lot. Like, to farm something. But I just don't love it. I'm just not in love with it. I'm not like, yeah, this is the perfect solution to it. So I'm still exploring other solutions, and hopefully we can find an easy way to do it that doesn't break the balance of the game, like outside the world. But I don't really see it happening unless we nerf everything. Wait, what do I keep pressing? Distracting shot. I'm used to 7 being ranged AoE on my other hunter. But yeah, so anything that is a spell that can be added to an item that could make the class play more dynamically. If you have any ideas and you're watching this, let me know. Help me brainstorm. But yeah, realistically, it's very limited. It has to be something that's already in the game and already working in the game. For some reason, there's a lot of spells, like I showed you that, like... Well, here, I'll show it to you again. Let's see. Because this is really weird. If you type this in here, watch this. Look at all of these spells. Like, I don't even know what half this shit is. I looked through every single thing on here the other night. A lot of, like this, it's like, what's even different? I don't know. But, like, there's a lot of Paladin. Paladin is probably the one that has the most. Like, for example, there's a Crusader Strike in the game. Keep doing that. And it does work. Crusader Strike is actually not even an old spell. I don't know what that's about, but... So yeah, you can potentially add Crusader Strike. The thing is, the mana cost is really low. I'm not really sure that spell fits in Classic, honestly. Is that the second time we've gotten that pattern? We got an axe. Huh. What do we have on? We have a staff, yeah. It's just a one-handed axe, though. So it's not going to help us, really. That poor Pat. I accidentally split pulled it, and it just running off on its own now. So we actually did not have that pattern. Getting patterns we didn't know about. That's funny. Not been getting a lot of wild vine. We only have 10 right now. I don't think I've used Bestial Wrath once either. But yeah, like for example, one of the hunter ones is to give their pet like way more damage and armor. So yeah, like that one obviously would be very doable for me to copy from Season of Discovery. But like kill command, that's yeah, unless there's an item in the game that makes the pet do damage when you use it, that's not gonna work. I also probably missed some wild vine when I was talking. Forgot that we're not auto-looting everything anymore. How are we doing on arrows? Funny. That was another thing I was looking into, arrows, even before the Season of Discovery announcement. Because the weird thing about arrows is there's an arrow that you can get from AV. And apparently it does like frost damage, like actually slows enemies or something like that. And I'm looking at it in the template and it doesn't, like, I don't see how that works or why it works. It doesn't have any spells associated with it. So I don't, that's probably not something I could deal with. I also tried, like, I'm a little confused how this works. You probably can't see it. I don't think you can see it, right? Actually, you kind of can. You see I'm hovering over my quiver right now, right? The quiver is an item that is not equipped, but it says, when it's equipped, increases range attack speed. So, is that something I can add elsewhere? Like, can you add on equipped to bags and it actually works? I need to test that out. In fact, like, wow, I don't know. Did I not think of that? But yeah, I was originally thinking of just adding stuff to quivers instead. But now I'm thinking about adding stuff to bags. I don't know. Like, it's really strange because I don't know how the game decides that something is equipped. But I bet it's very specific to quivers. Because obviously, there's no other items in the game that you equip that give you a proc of something. I'll have to try that. Here, I'm gonna fucking like type that in here. Let's see. I feel like I might have already tried this like a while ago. But yeah, if not, then yeah, just make quivers for hunters. Because like the way I've been handling it is, and just like in Season Discovery, I like this part of it. You can only have certain items, like you have to make a choice, right? Like there's like 5 choices, but you can only have 3 things, kind of thing. So I like that about that. You have to choose here and there. And it sounds like you can just take the gear off and switch whenever you want, which is exactly what I'm going to have. Because the way I've been handling it is we'll be just doing it as a trinket, which I think is perfect because early on you don't really get any trinkets. And, you know, this is just like power creep basically, which I want. I want the character to just be stronger by having this system. But then later on, when you start getting trinkets, now you have a choice to make. Like, do you stick with the good gear, the character-specific gear, or do you stick with trinket, the actual trinket? I think it's probably not going to be. It's probably just going to mean every trinket sucks now, but it's an interesting choice. I also was thinking about doing it as a shirt or a tabard, because those are 2 things that have no competition. Also, things like relics and librams. Those things, even though they have competition, they're pretty bad. So that's really funny how we're just like split pulling without even trying. But yeah, like, so like hunters would have the ammo pouch or the quiver. Paladins, druids, and shamans would have their totem thing. And that would pretty much be it. I don't think. I guess like you can do it with wands or something like that, but I don't really feel like that would be a good idea. But so yeah, in terms, I keep pressing that button. But in terms of interactable items, the only things that don't compete is shirts and tabards. I was thinking about rings and stuff, but yeah. You get a good amount of rings and necks and stuff through playthroughs, so. What I really wish I could do is actually make new enchants, just like Blizzard is doing. That's effectively what Blizzard is doing. They're making new enchants for gear that do not, like, that they stack with older enchants. That would be the ideal way to solve this, but I cannot make new spells. I've tried and it does not work with this client, it seems. I actually talked to Brotalnia or whatever, the guy who made this proxy thing. And he basically told me, like, yeah, I did not make it possible for you to add new spells. I only made, like, I guess there's some things he needed to add in order for this to work. Something about riding training or something like that, because apparently Blizzard uses a different riding training than classic private servers or something. I don't really understand that part, but anyway, he needed to do that. And so I was leafing through it, and it looks like I have been able to add spells. Like, you can add them. They just don't work. Like, you can't use them. So I was thinking, like, well, if they work passively, it would be fine. But I just, it's fucking doing my head in, honestly. I'm not going to mess with it anymore. We'll stick to the constraints we have, and if we master these constraints and then feel like we're not satisfied with the results, then we'll maybe look into it again, and by then maybe something will have changed. You never know. Maybe now that I planted the seed in his head about it, maybe he'll work on fixing it or something. I don't know. Yeah, I definitely think a mana... I've been calling them charms. That's what we'll call them, is charms. So the charm system, and that's right out of D2, right? But yeah, the charm system. I think we need a mana hunter one. I already made a general one that reduces all mana costs of spells by 25%. Which I think even like that sounds like it might be overpowered, but like even it can probably go even further and still be balanced. But yeah, I think Hunter, they have a talent, or it's not a talent, but a tier set thing. Basically, a lot of these ideas are going to come from tier sets. But they have a tier set thing that gives you a chance to get mana back. So I was thinking about just, yeah, throwing that, stacking that on there, and because it's actually not a lot of mana. It's only 200 mana every time it procs, and obviously it doesn't proc very much. I was just looking at my mana pool right now. Even at only level 50, I still have 10 times more than that, you know? So, yeah, even if we stack that 5 times on a piece, it would still not really be that overpowered. We would not have infinite mana. You would think you would just have infinite mana if you put 5 of those on a piece, right? 1,000 mana every time. But, I mean, it still has to proc. I guess I don't... Maybe it would be overpowered, but... Depending on the proc rate, I suppose. No. We don't need this mob, but let's kill it anyway. Fun to skin mobs. We haven't skinned anything in a while. Also thinking about a way to, like, just make them, like, fully melee. It's a fun idea to think about, but... One of the first things I did... Add Ghostly Strike as a charm. That feels like that. Oh, and so, another thing I haven't really announced or whatever, but like, I want to add on-use charms as well. And those will not have a, they will not be an item that you equip. It'll just be an item in your bags. And so spells that, I'm thinking about making them all share a CD. I have to figure out how best to do that right now. But I think I'll probably just make it like share a CD with all trinkets. But anyway, yeah, make it so, like, you know, you have spells that you can use, basically, like, adding spells to the class, you know what I mean? And then, because we were talking about this yesterday, but basically every spell has a cooldown, and the item... the cooldown of the item is separate from that. So I can take a spell, like on a trinket. The example I gave was like some trinket that had like a 15-minute cooldown, but with a really interesting on use. And I could just change that to a 2-minute cooldown. And now all of a sudden we have a really powerful new spell. You know what I mean? So I like that a lot. Certainly have, we're making progress, but it doesn't feel like it. Do we have the rest of the materials? We need a 78 thick leather. Do we have that? Not even fucking close. Okay. Well, our goal today will be to craft those pieces, I guess. It's only 8 o'clock, so. So it'll probably be a long episode because I've not done much yet. I gotta be off in like 2 hours, so we might go the full distance here. Since we never get to play this character. But yeah, now that I'm done with that, well, so in terms of like Lava Wow leveling challenges, I still really want to do the Paladin Heritage Armor one. But I think I'm going to wait for that for a while. And I want to do that Hunter max level content. But that, before we can even think about doing that, you need to have killed Fyrak. So we'll see. I'm hoping that if I kill it on my main, it will then unlock stuff on the alt. Because I really don't want to go do LFR on a hunter. Especially an undergeared hunter. But it could be funny, I guess. It could be worth watching, perhaps. There's also a thing that would make Feign Death's cooldown much lower. In terms of like hunter tier set powers and things. That one I don't really find to be that interesting. But I mean, 30 seconds is pretty short as it is, I feel like. Don't really think we would use it much more than that. Hunter has like nothing really cool. Like they just have a bunch of generic things. Like I guess mana was a big issue. You can kind of always just look at tier 3 and see what like Blizzard intended for classes. And yeah, Hunters, like let's look at it. Duration of rapid fire by 4 seconds. That's quite cool because I never really used that spell. Like I don't really feel like it's a very good spell right now. I don't even really get how it works. But if it just lasted like way longer, it would feel like a far more powerful CD. Because it's a 5-minute CD and I don't really even get how it works, to be honest. That one's pretty interesting. Just trying to get back in combat, then we'll keep looking at it. But anyway, attack power by 50 for both you and your pet. Like, wow, that's really shitty. Range criticals have a chance to cause adrenaline rush, granting 50 mana. So that's not even the one I was talking about, but there's also that one. And then reduce the mana cost of multi-shot and aim shot by 20. I mean, that's powerful, I think, but if you look at the cost, it's only 200. So it's like, yeah, that one's powerful. A lot of mana of specific things, though. Like Hunters, I think it was the dungeon set that I was looking at, right? Beast Stalker. Yeah, that's it. Your normal range attacks have a 4% chance of restoring 200 mana. That seems more powerful than the tier 3 one, to me. Unless I'm missing something. I don't think range, like what was the dungeon one? The other one? Guess we should focus on the combat for now. I don't know, our pet kind of does all the work for us, man. But yeah, I was really hoping we were going to actually be able to make new enchants. I think I even talked about that at some point in this playthrough, because I have enchanting on this character, and I don't know why. This was like 8 months ago that I started this playthrough, I'm pretty sure. So I can't remember. My life has changed so much in that period of time. But anyway, yeah, what was the dungeon, or the raid set? 3. Range critical always, so every time you crit you get 50 mana back. That might be more powerful, I don't know. There's a 4% chance otherwise, that's That's pretty low, but it's 200 mana opposed to 50. So it just have to be like, you'd have to crit 4 times. Yeah, I don't know. We can put like 2 of each of them on or something like that and see how it plays out, but Hunter, man, I love it. Like, I love Hunter in Classic, but it does feel like it's not very engaging. Like, there's nothing you can do to get mana back, so. I don't know how much I've talked about this, but, like, my favorite thing about Diablo 2 modding is, like, adding fun things that happen when you attack. It feels like a core thing of Diablo 2. Whereas, like, the other, like, Diablo 3 and onward, like, that's not how the game works at all. And I think the same can be said about Live WoW versus Classic WoW. I think Classic WoW was, like, really just basic, keen on auto attacks, and that's why, like, the casters are all kind of weak. And auto attacks are just, like, not reliably powerful no matter what. So I feel like there's that similarity there that we can do something like that here. If we can get actual damaging spells to just happen when you use melee attack, I would like that a lot. But like I said, I tried that with the Iron Foe proc, and I couldn't seem to get it to work. Basically, there's a column in the template that says real proc per minute, and that's a strange phrase to hear because I didn't think Blizzard used that phrase until MoP. But regardless, it is there. And I tried doing it, like, I just tried putting, I don't know what the column means. Like, the numbers that are used by the default stuff that's there don't make any sense. Like, they range wildly. Like, it doesn't make any sense. If the number is meant to be how many actual procs there are a minute, it's like, some of them are like 60. It's like, well, what? So I don't know. I'm thinking maybe it's like, because in other columns, for example, like the cooldown column, it's milliseconds or something that you put in, or whatever hundreds of seconds are, or tens of seconds, whatever. So in order to put a 30-second cooldown on something, you have to put 30,000. You see? So it makes me think like that's probably how that real proc per minute thing works too. So even I should just put like 10,000 and see what happens. Would that be 10 procs per minute then at that point? I have no idea. But I don't know. There's like not really documentation on that kind of thing. Apparently it's all in the files somewhere, but it's like, I will tell you, like, I've been modding games for a long time now. I modded, like, I made my own Pokemon game. That was the start of it. That was the first creative gaming project I ever worked on. That's pretty much completely on the back burner now. I can't really see myself going back to that. But I made my own Pokemon game. Then after that, I started working on the Final Fantasy Tactics ROM hack, which I've just pretty much stopped even caring about. But it was fun, and I really like Final Fantasy Tactics, so if I ever want to play it, I have that. Then I started working on the Dark Souls 3 mod, which I never really, like, that's even more frustrating than any. That's probably the hardest thing to mod, because that game is definitely not meant to be moddable. But that was fun, to be honest. And then I started working on Crusader Kings 2 mod, and then I started working on Diablo 2 mod as well. So it's like Diablo 2, Crusader Kings 2, and now WoW Classic. I have a lot of hours spent into modding all three. And obviously the Pokemon game. The Pokemon game is like the easiest thing to mod because it's you're not even modding something. You're making the game. So that's a whole different thing. But in terms of like ease and fun, it's Classic WoW is the worst. Like the worst thing I've modded. It's almost like it's not meant to be modded. And I honestly kind of feel like the people who made this stuff don't want it to be modded. Because the way the whole thing works, it's a fucking absolute mess. I don't know why. Like, I first of all, I guess a lot of their stuff is just guesswork and just, you know, hacky solutions to things. And they've just basically taken what's public about WoW's API otherwise. But considering it's an entirely custom built game, it doesn't seem like it should be this difficult to make changes to it. But I guess the problem is the client requires the changes too, and that's typically done by hotfixes on Blizzard's end, and it's a lot harder to figure that out than I expected it to be. Let's put it that way. Which is really strange. Like, that's why I'm so confused by it, because it makes me wonder, like, does Blizzard have to, like, train every single one of their engineers or whatever you call these people on this, like, hyper complicated way to make changes to the game? Is that really how they make their game? I would love to work at Blizzard just for a month and just learn all this shit, and then I'd be able to do whatever the fuck I want probably, but it's really strange, yeah. It's really difficult to make changes to some things in the game. Whereas in, like, D2, which, I mean, I guess they intended it to be moddable? I don't know. Like, I really don't know. Like, I'm not sure if that game was originally meant to be moddable. I didn't play D2 until Diablo 2 Resurrected came out, so I have no idea what the original game's development was like, but... Oh, and then, yeah, and then I've, like, made Warcraft 3 maps and, like, all of these things. Nothing... Warcraft 3 maps are actually a real fucking pain in the ass to make, to be honest. But... nothing is harder than modding this game. It's really crazy. But to be honest, nothing is more satisfying than modding this game either. Because it's WoW. It's, you know, my favorite game ever, and it's got a lot of power to its modding. The world is so fucking huge. Like, making a Warcraft 3 map is nice, but it's just one map. You know what I mean? This is making a change to the world of Warcraft. The entire thing. It's so fucking awesome. It's so fun, and it's so... But yeah, Evenly Distributed Money asked if I would ever think about, like, recording these things or streaming it even, I guess. And I had to think about it before I answered his question yesterday. I'm like, yeah, maybe, because I know, like, Wall and some other guys who are big in the classic emulation scene are making content on it. He's making, like, guides, I think, which are great, because I'm sure there's a lot to learn. Unfortunately, I watched this shit and I just had no idea what he's even doing. Half the time I'm way too novice for this. Like, basically it all runs on code, and then the game gets compiled on top of that code, and what I'm trying to edit is the stuff that's compiled on top of the code. What he's trying to edit is the code. So he's basically making his own emulator. Oh, there's a treasure. And I'm not. I'm just editing the emulator we already have. So I don't really feel like I'm learning that much from it. But the thing is, he knows, like, everything there is to know about this, which is fucking crazy. So sometimes you probably pick up things without realizing it. But yeah, I've been asking him for tips on some small things, but yeah, there's not a lot of resources out there is what I'm trying to say. And unfortunately, I do feel like the community around the resources that are there are kind of gatekeepy. Like, I've seen a lot of questions get asked, and people will be like, you should be able to figure that out on your own, kind of thing. It's like, oh man. I get why people say that, because, you know, it's not really something you should mess with unless you know what you're messing with. But honestly, like, you know, let's be serious. Like, editing games is just fun. Like, that, you know what I mean? Some people just like doing it, like, even if they don't care if the results work or not. Like, that's how I got into making the Pokemon game. This is like a wild fucking ride, though, man. Like, you have no idea how this all started. I started by playing Pokemon Reborn with Arno. Arno was talking about playing Pokemon games, and I did not know that there was custom Pokemon games. Like, this is like 2015 or something, maybe even earlier than that. MOP was out. And so he's telling me about these custom games, and so I'm looking into ROM hacks, which are games that you edit the actual code of the vanilla game from Blizzard, or from Game Freak or whatever, right? And so then we wanted to play a game together, which I had never, like, played a Pokemon ROM hack, period, at that point. So I was like, all right, well, let's try these different games. And he's like, well, don't you want to try like a more custom game? I was like, well, I guess. I was just gonna pick like a ROM hack for Pokemon Fire Red or something like that. And so we started looking into, like, games, and we found Pokemon Reborn, which I don't know how many Pokemon fan games there were at the time, but I think this might have been one of the first. This game was made entirely outside of Nintendo. Like, they did not make any part of it, other than the assets that they basically steal, you know? This person made an entire game themselves with Pokemon Essentials RPG Maker. I always want to clarify that because it sounds when we interviewed this person, they corrected me on that, so I always now correct myself on that. They did not make the game's engine; they just made the content. The game engine was made by somebody else. But anyway, they basically took classic WoW server and turned it into like RuneScape or something. You know what I mean? Like that's how much work they did, which is fucking insanely impressive. But it sparked in me an idea, like, oh, I didn't know you could make your own Pokemon game. So that's like years go by then, and I'm like, oh, cool, whatever. I always had ideas with RPG Maker to make a game. When I was young, I had RPG Maker, and I tried to make an actual RPG game, like Final Fantasy or something like that. Yeah, I don't know what I thought was going to happen, but it did not happen, let's put it that way. And so anyway, the idea was always in my head. But so then we're playing Pokemon Reborn, and we get super into it. I still love that game. I wish I had the interest to go back. I just don't think I could ever play a Pokemon game that's not mine now. But the story is really, really cool, and maybe someday Arno fucking shows up again and we want to do it again or something, but yeah, I don't know, man. But anyway, so many good days. We got together on Christmas Day the one year. We got together during the World Cup when America and Belgium were playing. That's where he's from. I have some of the best memories of my life of playing that fucking game with Arno. So I've always got a really strong attachment to these Pokemon fan games that came out of that community. And then I found, a passion in potentially editing Pokemon Reborn to be more interesting because I saw people were doing that. So then I discover how to do that. And so then I learned all about RPG Maker and Pokemon Essentials and like PBS files, which are basically like the skeleton of the game. Like you need to edit those to change things from your perspective of the game. So I started editing that game. And then, as I'm doing that, I'm learning more and more about it. And I'm like, wait a second. I can just make my own game. Like, fucking straight up make my own game. Because all the files in the game are open source. Like, you can... Every single thing in the... Once you have the PBS files, you have every single thing in the game. So, all the trainer data, all the battle sprites, all the art, all the fucking everything. So, I'm like, I can literally just delete her game and make my game on top of her code. That's exactly what I did with my game, which is a little scummy, I guess. But yeah, regardless, like, I mean, it's not like she didn't steal it in the first place, So it's like, yeah, I don't know. I love it. That was the start, and it's been a wild fucking ride ever since. That was the first time I ever started getting creative and making games based on other games. I don't know a single thing about coding. I'm not a fucking scripter. I don't know anything. I can't make my own game. People always said, like, when we were talking about this back in BFA a lot on the stream, people were always like, you should just start your own game development company. And I'm like, well, how? Like, what do you mean? I don't know how to make a game. I have ideas, and people would say, like, well, that's enough. And I'm like, I'm not paying people to make a game for me, bro. Like, that's not what I want to do. I don't want to give them the idea and then them make the game. That sounds like a fucking hell of a way to lose your idea. I just want... Like, basically my mom likes to paint. Whenever she is, stressed, I don't know, like, just, that's her passionate hobby, right? I like to make games. Like, it's like painting to me. Like, it's just, let's see what happens. You know what I mean? I don't go in it. It's not like golf where you go in it with the goal. Your goal is not progression. It's not to get better at making the game. It's not to, be the best game maker I can be. It's simply to make progress. It's simply to make, like cathartic actions and see the results of those creative actions come out. So, yep. Can't remember which ones I've even looted at this point. Looks like that wasn't one of them. Okay. Well, we have 21 now. Let's get one more just to keep... I like keeping the inventory slot filled with them. And then it's time to go get leather, I guess. I gotta remember to use the CDs, man. I never use them. It's just hard to feel the effects of rapid fire. Like, there's no visual indication that it's helping me. But presumably it's making me attack faster. It's just not something you can see. And I don't know how that interacts with the actual spells, like multi-shot and aim shot. Like, does that do something with that? I have no idea. Probably not. It sure is fun to kill mobs that are lower level than you, though, that's for sure. Oh yeah, and so now these actually work, too. That's awesome. Love seeing that. I put a lot of heart into these, man. The scroll tells of nights past and of many days yet to come. I try to put, like, RP text that's, like, really, you know, feels like what you would say about Classic. Like, how people are like, it's magical, bro. Like, you know, shit like that. The scroll contains much knowledge that can help all peoples of Azeroth. If you find an interested party, you can both receive this knowledge. Find someone interested in helping you progress on your journey. We'll find somebody, don't you worry. Alright, I just want to get one more before we leave here. Make sure we got the right number, though. 21. Cured thick hides. Do we have any of those? I don't know. Yeah, we have 13 thick hides already, so we're good on that front. We just need to go find a place to farm thick leather. I remember doing it in Tenaris, right? Is that what? Probably not the best place, but let's go and look it up. Dude. Yes, just looking for thick, thank you. Yeah, I guess Feralus, Tenaris. We can go do the quest. I mean, there's the Yeti quest that we have we can still do. It's not the worst idea because we know those definitely give leather. Presumably they give thick leather. Probably go to Feralus. I just love Feralus now. How does that hit that mob? That mob was so far away, the pet didn't even aggro it. But what I need to find is like spells that... Not cleared up quick. What I need to find is spells that like don't have an actual value associated with them. There's a lot of spells like Heart Strike, well not Heart Strike, what the fuck, Heroic Strike, that just modify your own weapon damage. Like I think Mongoose Bite works that way, right? Yeah, a strong attack that increases melee damage by 110. So it's gonna take my weapon damage and then add 110 to it, I think is how that works, right? All right, anyway, we're good. So like, yeah, that's That's the way to do it, because then it will work at level 1 as well. Well, that one's actually probably not that good of an example. That's not the example. That's the opposite example. What we want is spells like Heroic Strike that do a percentage of your attack power only. That's what we want. Alright, anyway. Back to Gromgol. Going to, I mean, there's so many beasts here. Is it really, do we really need to? Let's just do it. We'll go to Feralus. Actually, that's really stupid, right? What does that actually recommend here? Let's see. I'm the only person in the game who counts this as my favorite all-around farming zone. I'm not the only person. Still, the extreme popularity also means many non-skinners will be killing there as well, which may give you great opportunity to skin. That's not what... I don't care. There's so many mobs to skin there, though, right? So... don't really feel like it's a detriment to skin there, though. I don't know what the... I was looking to see what the colors meant. I don't know if that's explained somewhere. But yeah, I guess Feralus wouldn't be the worst option. I just don't think there's the right level beast here for us to do that here. Much as I love spending time in the zone, we have spent an enormous amount of time in this zone. Like, I feel like 50% of the content has either taken place in this zone or in the Barrens, right? The Barrens, we spent like probably like 10 episodes in the early part of the playthrough, and now this zone has become the new Barrens for us. Fine by me, man. Fits the theme. Love the music. Love the atmosphere. It's funny, like, we started the zone at like 30, came here, got obliterated by it, had to leave, and then we're still here. It's level 50 now. It's crazy. Not like we're actually gaining experience, really, but... oh, we did get the treasure. Oh, we have so much silk, too. Should we keep that? I don't have a lot of slots left.
How you doing, man?
Every time I come here, I want to do this quest, but gotta stay focused on crafting for now. Stag meat, keeping on the meat, right? I haven't fed my pet in what feels like years. I don't know when the last time I fed him was. I don't think we need Purple Lotus. We only needed the... I think we're just getting the cloth because we farmed the fuck out of those mobs, right? Broken Blade of Heroes. What the fuck? Oh, no, I'm keeping that. That's up there for a reason. Just every once in a while, we need to drink something. Give him that wild hog shank. I don't know. I don't think we need the cloth, to be honest. I guess I'll keep one stack of it, though. Just the inventory's kind of filling up. We also have 126 gold. I was talking about this yesterday as well, but I like the idea of potentially... oh, perfect. Of potentially making the patterns that I don't get, like BOE patterns, put them on a vendor somewhere. I think that would be a really good way to solve this issue without having to make all kinds of crazy custom content for this whole thing. Because those BOE patterns, they're made by Blizzard to be something that you would just get from the auction house, you know? So at the end of the day, this is exactly how you would expect to get them, by paying for them with gold, you know? You can get them yourself and save the money. But I like the idea because we have 126 gold already and there's pretty much no purpose to gold in this playthrough. So it would encourage me to actually care more about gold. And also it would certainly encourage me to potentially care about gold at max level too. Because, you know, we'd be in there farming raids and shit or something like that. You know, we're getting mad guap, you know? Getting stupid paper bag money kind of shit, you know? And, yeah, then we could use that, to go by the patterns that we need to finish the playthrough. I think that's a good choice. That stupid, fruity, crazy swag, you know what I mean? That kind of money. I'm sure you guys know exactly what I mean on that. Alright, back on this continent. This is probably not the fastest way to get here, though, but it doesn't really matter. We will fly to Feralus now. Enjoy the music. As I continue to look for Christmas gifts for people. You can jump off here, right? Yes, you damn right you can. Hey, there's a pet, too. What's up, buddy? What's up, buddy? I haven't played much Horde on Live WoW in a while, so. We did the Shaman Heritage Armor playthrough, and that was really, really fun. That Orc Heritage Armor has got to be the best one. I can't. That's why I'm almost like not even. I don't even want to do the human one now. That Orc one was fucking insanely good. And it was surprisingly good in ways that I didn't expect it to be good, like with the music and the characters and stuff. I expect the human one to be great, and that's the one I want to be the most, like, involved in. But honestly, I worry that I probably set the expectation too high.
Peace, friend.
The Night Elf, though, I do want to try to get that blue and white Heritage Armor coloration. That's like priority one because I really like that coloration. I'd like to actually use those pieces of gear.
What are you looking for?
All right, down to Feralus, which is that one. Camp Majache.
Strength.
I'm gonna just go do that quest, I guess, right? Fuck it. We have this quest here to go do that, so we'll just farm on those guys because that's something we have anyway. Quest will be done very quickly. We'll need a lot of leather. We already have a lot of rugged leather too, which I'm surprised by. But yeah, I guess we use all of our thick leather to craft the other stuff. Should have probably stopped and got arrows too. I think, was there some in Feralus? Just traveling in WoW is so fun, man. It's so enjoyable. Like I wouldn't call it fun, I guess, but it's enjoyable, calming, soothing. Love it. I do love it. I feel bad for all the people who are trying to rush through the game, man. Dragon riding is definitely one of the best things I've ever added to the game. No question about that, man. But doing Azure Span with no dragon riding really opened my eyes to how good this game's actual land is. Like stuff on the ground. There was so many times when I was just traveling through that zone, going from quest to quest, like not even exploring, that I was traveling over things that I did not know were there. Because when I was dragon riding, you don't ever stop, you know what I mean? You just go up in the air, you don't even get to see the ground most times, and then you just land at your destination, and that's it. It's great for speed leveling, and it certainly has made leveling a lot faster, and it's going to really transform leveling once the next patch is out. But yeah, it's you're losing something there, no doubt. You really are losing something. Alright, you're here. Let's go figure this out then. Hopefully this will be a good spot. Get some experience as well as some leather. It's not like we need the experience, but I mean eventually we will. I don't know when we dinged 50. Was that last episode? I remember dinging during the crafting of the previous sets of gear, so... These quests, I could probably raise them to give more experience. I feel like that would be a pretty good idea, to be honest. Because they're pretty epic. Like, they're pretty nuts quests, right? Like, you got to do a lot of crafting, especially now that there's no auction house. Like, you got to do a lot of crafting. A lot of work, a lot of legwork. Enjoying the Christmas lights in the background too, hopefully. I forgot about that. It is now the time to celebrate Christmas. A little early. I like to start December 1st, but yeah, this year we'll start early. I only got 2 more days of November anyway, apparently. I thought November had 31 days for some reason, but I guess it does not. Nope. So yeah. December 1st starts Friday, which is new trading post on Friday too. That's nice. Really don't like that they're doing the Season of Discovery when they are. Disappointing that they're like stacking all this content this quickly. I feel bad for people who are playing hardcore, to be honest. That's gonna be a fucking ghost town. Hardcore is such a gimmick though, man. I actually don't even feel bad for those people. It was never meant to be like something that should have been played long term. It's a fucking leveling challenge, dude. Like, they made a server for a leveling challenge. Now I get it. Like, there's Pokemon games that have Nuzlocke built in and shit too, man. Like, people like this shit. I'm not surprised that people like it. It's just not really meant to be mass consumed, I feel like, right? Like, it's a leveling challenge. Like, should there be hundreds of thousands of people playing it around the clock? I don't really feel like that's... No, I don't really think so. Should you be trying to raid with hardcore rule sets? No, fuck no. That is like so... God, I would never even think about doing that. Imagine doing Mythic Plus hardcore. That's all you need to know. Like, if you watch my channel, my content at all, Think about the shit that we deal with in Mythic Plus, and then imagine if one death actually meant the end of the run. One death. Talking about fucking World of Warcraft, bro. People die 30 fucking times, and you can still succeed in the content you're doing. We had that 32 death necrotic wake in Shadowlands, right? It's just asinine. Like, who came up with that idea? No death. Yeah, let's raid. It's one thing to level. Like, at least that sounds like something that would be interesting. But to raid, it's like, what are you talking about? No thanks. I don't want to have to level a new character because some jackass pulled mobs. Oh, I don't have a pet out right now. I was like, what's going on right now? That's a habit. Hard one to break. These mobs actually give experience too. Back to fighting real enemies. Thick leather. Oh, that's what we wanted, yeah, okay. I had it in my head that we needed heavy leather, but that's the previous tier. There's a lot of mobs here. This is not even where we're supposed to be farming, but we need a lot anyway, so it doesn't matter. We will have no problem finishing the quest, I'd imagine. These mobs have a lot of health. That's rugged. See, I was worried about that. We need to get only thick leather if we're gonna be. This is gonna be efficient. Probably won't be able to finish this at this rate. So I have less than an hour left, and yeah, realistically, we're not. I don't think we're gonna get 90 leather in an hour. This kill rate. Not unless every single thing we get is the right leather. Alright. Maybe don't kill these guys, huh? Too small of a sample size to be sure, but these are also good kills. They give loot. They give leather. I was thinking about the potential of like just pure placebo effect though from power-ups in video games. Like, think about it. What happens if it said 3% more damage against beasts, and I never knew if I did 3% more damage or not, but I still took the talent? Like, if I could never actually prove that that worked, I'd still probably take it. Like, it's like, oh, that's cool. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Games are weird. Like, there's so much like that, I feel like. What's that? It's like floating. I think we need gold thorn for something, don't we? I don't know why I have so much of it in my inventory. I saw that when I logged on. I was like, oh, I have a bunch of gold thorn. God, that's slow. There's a pretty cool warrior cheer set thingy from the AQ21. It makes Thunderclap do 50% more damage and 50% better slow. It's a tough one to balance. I'd rather if it just did more damage because I feel like the slow is still valuable as it is. But like, you know, there's always been like Thunderclap legendaries and shit in WoW over the years, so that could be one that I do for warrior. I just don't know if I'm gonna do one for like every class or something like that, but I definitely got to come up with good ones for mages, and I'm thinking about Hunter too because I got to figure out a way that I'm gonna actually play this character and go farm all the end game stuff. So I'm still brainstorming on that. It feels like those are not the same. Like I'm thinking about coming up with good powers for mage to potentially do that 1 HP challenge on and kind of co-opt those, you know, ideas from Season of Discovery, but we'll see. Shaman actually is probably the one that has the best options. They have one that makes Lightning Shield a Mana Shield. It's fucking cool. That's a really cool idea. Wish they just had Water Shield at the end of the day, but wait, how the fuck did I get rabies from... That's some kind of bug? The mob didn't even attack me. Holding on to that just so we don't keep getting it. Pain in the ass. Okay, where are the actual Yetis at? Didn't intend to kill this many non-Yetis. This is up there, I guess. I missed it. It's like a path up there, I think is how it works. Bring the loot to me, please. That's something I've learned to do with the hunter on live WoW because I've been really able to kill mobs from very, very far away at times on that character. So sometimes you kill mobs so far away that it ends up slowing you down like to crazy amounts. Now I have to run all the way over there to loot it. I guess I'll just pick it up. I don't know. This is the herb that we needed like crazy in the other character, right? Is that why I'm thinking I needed maybe? I don't know. What am I missing here? Oh, here it is. Alright, we'll just kill these. Hopefully these guys give a good, I think they give... Oh, and they're a little lower level too, that's nice. Definitely, part of the issue is just the kill rate, I feel like. The other farm was a lot easier and quicker, obviously, because all we needed to do was kill mobs that were 10 levels lower than us, but now we have to actually monitor our mana and care about what we're fighting. Yeah, see, we're gonna finish this quest real quick. Plus, there's a higher density here, yeah. And that's all they drop, I guess, is money in the things. So that's nice. Ah, rugged. Well, alright. I guess, yeah, I don't see us finishing this, which is kind of unfortunate. Hopefully I'll remember. That's the big problem. I want to just keep... I want to play more of this, though, to be honest. I'm kind of like... This is really on my mind right now, so... I want to play some Classic. The Season of Discovery's got me excited for Classic, just not that version of it. I hadn't thought about Classic at all since the patch came out, pretty much. So like a month since BlizzCon, really. But now I'm all about it. Oh. Oh, that's fucking annoying. It's not a... Not only are we still wasting that drop, but now we have to delete the other one just to be able to skin the mob. Rugged leather. Might go back to the beast then, I guess, because this is not really... I don't know. It's like a... Need to find more mobs like that fucking turtle area where we were getting both leathers. That was actually probably the place we should have went. Because that gave... I think that was giving thick and heavy, right? And then we could use heavy to turn it into thick. I need to find a way to like make notes to myself or something. I can make like a macro. It's not a bad idea. Is there like a note? I can make like a note icon. Whee! It's not that fun. Find a mob that I can kill while we're doing this. Oh, I can't. Alright, let's just strictly find a note. Here we go. Oh my god. Alright, finish getting thick leather, craft full wild leather set, turn in, what is it that's needed? Chest and helmet. I don't even remember what type of tribal leatherworking. Okay. Now I'll remember. Hopefully I'll remember that I made the macro. That's good. I should probably put it on my bars or something like that. Put it under the camera so you guys don't have to constantly be reminded how stupid I am. It's funny though. Yeah, I think, you know what, let's just abort this area. The more I think about it, the more, because we actually have a ton of heavy leather. Maybe I can just, how much do we actually need? Keep that up. I need 78. I probably can just, yeah, let's just abort. We'll go back to Tenaris. I think that's the right choice. It's just pointless. Like, there's no reason to farm here because we're constantly getting rugged leather. We're gonna need, we need every leather. But the thing is, if you're getting 2 types of leather somewhere else, that's just better. Because that means that every 3rd kill, you're getting an extra of the leather you need, no matter what. So, yeah. God, man. Threat is a big issue. That's probably something I should do. I wonder if there's a way to do that. I'm sure there's like enchants and shit, right? I just don't know how that actually works. Presumably the pet and I do not share a threat modifier at all, right? Like, if I lower my threat, it doesn't not lower the pet's threat too, right? I don't know. It might be that way, though. What I'll have to do is find out a way to make me do 100% less threat. And see if I still pull threat at all, because if so, then that means the pet obviously does not. He obviously shares my threat modifiers. Okay, one more kill. We got some wolf meat too, which I guess we need. That's the only thing about the turtles, is they don't think the meat we get from them is valuable at all. We'll go turn this quest in, and then we'll go to Tenaris, and that's probably where we'll just end the episode at this point, because there's no way we're... I don't know, though, man. Like, we might still... Like, first of all, if we just convert all the heavy leather we have right now into... How much would we get? Let's see. Okay, so we have thick leather. We can get 34 right now. So how many do we have? That's nowhere near enough still. We only have 58. And we need 78. So we could probably do it though. But yeah, if I only have... Maybe we'll save that for the next episode. It's getting kind of long anyway. I don't want to make these too long. And I kind of now want to go mess around with that bag thing, so... We'll just, we'll go to Ferrol, or to Tenaris, and see what's happening there. Alright, let's add the, from turtles. Update the to-do list. That's a really good idea. I don't know why I didn't think of that sooner. This quest inside. There's somebody here that you can buy arrows from.
Well met.
I don't think. I don't remember.
May
Let's
the
quickly look it
eternal
up.
sun shine upon thee.
Jagged arrow. Classic. Sold by. There's somebody in Daenerys it looked like. Jabby, general goods. Oh, that's the. Okay, perfect. That's where we'll end the episode then. Let's go buy arrows from that guy. He's on the coast of the zone anyway.
Peace, friend. May the eternal sun shine.
I think there's other vendors there too, right? I need to empty the bags too. We don't have a lot of bags. That's another concern I have for the future is when we do eventually go into raids and stuff, or dungeons especially. I've been doing, like I said, Blackrock Depth, and it's like, wow, your bags fill up fucking quick. Like, there's no way you'd be able to do it with these small ass bags. So we'll have to make some content or some way to get those bottomless bags I made that have a ton of slots. I had an idea earlier on if I have like admin mode or whatever it's called, I can access my bank from anywhere. But I don't like playing with that on. That's not interesting to me. I like playing the game the normal way. But yeah, like admin mode means like you can't die, you can portal, you can do all this shit that Even though I don't think I would do, it's too tempting not to just disable it, honestly. So we won't mess with that. I don't want to mess with that. Even though it would be nice to have bank access from anywhere, but way too many, and that would be just to store everything that we don't need. So like all of our leatherworking stuff would be in the bank instead, you know? But yeah, that's not going to be it for me. I don't think that's the solution. Alright, let's just kill one turtle and, or maybe one or two and confirm. Yeah, don't have a pet out again. I gotta figure out if like the whole quiver thing is specific to quivers. Oh, actually the turtle meat. He'll eat that, right? Oh, no, he's not high enough level. That's weird. Look at this. So yeah, that's 3 things from 1 kill. Now I don't need the scales anymore, but that's pretty crazy. We could just sell them, I guess, eventually. This is definitely the best spot to farm for either of these leathers in the game. Seems like it always drops too. It's weird. Yeah. It's like bugged something probably. But I didn't do it. It wasn't me who did that, so that stays as it is, just in case it's supposed to be like that. Also, I need the scorpion stuff still, so this is a pretty unique farm for a few reasons. Alright, let's go buy the arrows, and that'll be empty our bags too. Black pearl, I have a bunch of those. I think we needed those. Oh, we got some experience. I don't know when we'll ding 51, but not a priority at all right now. Fisherman, this is not the guy, but at least we can empty our inventory. Mystery meat, is that? Nope. Won't eat that either. I don't blame him, to be honest. Don't want to, I don't know, I feel like, yeah, feeding animals food that you wouldn't eat is kind of, I don't know. I get it, like, you can't really afford to feed your animal steak and shit, but...
Glad I could help. Ah, potential customer.
All right. Jagged arrow, hello? Okay, I was a little worried. I was like, shit, did I type in the wrong guy? All right, cool. There's no hit or anything here, but yeah, cool. So yeah, I hope to be back. I don't know when, but I definitely want to play this more. Maybe, you know, maybe more this week even. So we will see. We got the nice little to-do list here now. So next time we come here, we'll be ready to go. But yeah, I don't know. I know a lot of people aren't watching. Not a lot of people are watching these anyway. But just in case, if you guys have any ideas that you've seen in Classic or anything unique that you think would make a good, like, season of discovery type thing, just send it my way and I'll take a look at it. So thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next episode of this leveling challenge that we're doing.